Hello everyone, welcome to today's session. We hope all of you are healthy and keeping safe. Now before we get to the presentation, I request everyone to be on mute during this session in order to avoid any confusion. Please use the chat window to communicate with me and the speakers. You can also jot down your questions during the session, which we will address towards the end of the presentation. Now let's quickly set a context for the day in the next 1 hour of the time that you have with us. In a moment, I'll introduce you to the esteemed panelists and myself. I will also provide a brief intro to Happiest Minds Technologies. From there, Rafik can take over and speak on Azure Sentinel for next gen SOC. He can then hand it over to Prashant Bhandari, who will throw some light on SOC 2.0, need of the hour. Meanwhile, I'll be noting down all your questions, which we will address at the end of the presentation. So therefore, do not forget to drop your questions that you have on the chat window. Also, towards the end of this session, I will let you know how you can sign up for the personalized custom workshop on SOC 2.0, powered by Azure Sentinel by Happiest Minds Technologies. Without further delay, let me start by introducing myself. I am Kalyani and I will be the moderator for today's session. I head the Global Marketing Initiative for Infrastructure Management and Security Services at Happiest Minds Technologies. With me today, I have both the panelists, Mr. Rafik Gerges, Security and Compliance Lead at Microsoft. Rafik holds an MSc in Cybersecurity and has done his diploma in machine learning. He has won multiple awards on global scale with 30+ international certifications. Rafik is a seasoned advisor and consultant to CISOs and CIOs on cybersecurity risks and compliance across MEA and Europe. Hello, Rafik, and welcome to today's session. Our second speaker on the panel is Mr. Prashant Bhandari, Practice Director for Cybersecurity, Happiest Minds Technologies. Prashant comes with over 19 years of experience in IT security industry. His passion for cybersecurity can be seen through his conversations. You will be witnessing that in today's session. He has dedicated his career to help organizations achieve effective and robust security strategies. At Happiest Minds, he is critical in orchestrating SOC 2.0 solution in order to provide holistic managed detection and response services. Hi, Prashant, and welcome to today's session. Now, before we start the topic of the day, I would like to quickly introduce Happiest Minds to you guys. We are a next-gen digital transformation, infrastructure, security, and product engineering services company. We were launched in the year 2011 by Mr. Ashok Soota. Mr. Soota is a serial entrepreneur with over 30 years of experience in global IT industry. Currently, we are spread across 16 cities, 8 countries, and work with 170+ customers. Now, what you see on the screen are some of the accreditations we have bagged over the years in the race to become one of the leading IT service providers in India. With that, I would like to hand over the mic to Mr. Rafik. Hello, Rafik, the stage is all yours.
Co-delivering this webinar with Happiest Minds and with my colleague Prashant. So Prashant will later explain about Happiest Mind powerful SOC practice, but for now, allow me to take you through one of the most powerful components within that practice. And I'm going to take you through Azure Sentinel, the Microsoft's next-gen cloud-native SIEM tool. So just some refresher, because not everyone is coming from a pure security. Since 1998, when the cybersecurity started to materialize and became very important, customers used to follow a defense in-depth approach, means stacking up different perimeters, technical defense controls behind each other, starting mostly by and keeping the data secure as the heart of all of these layers. Since around to 2012, new concepts of mobility, software as a service, remote working, digitization started to arise. And that completely changed the view of how organizations would look into risks, because earlier The assets like the data, the servers, the apps are all within the perimeter of the organization. But today, there is no real definition of the perimeter. In turn, discrete security components are no longer providing the required protection because of loose or no real integration. Defense in depth methodology became an old fashion. Today, there's a huge need for adaptive defense approach, and the zero trust practice means data control beyond exfiltration point, fully integrations, which enables end-to-end visibility, deeper context of investigation, and fast coordinated response. For example, a user isolate a device from the network, remove emails that same time as a response for an incident. SOC teams are using traditional SIM tools are suffering. Organizations has reached the point of saturation for the security tools. Average 26 to 40 different solutions, each of alerts or telemetry, resulting in a huge amount of data to analyze, which makes them miss the true alerts within the huge noise. And what we have seen with our experience with the customers, aligned with that has been lately published. I have added the link here, so I would that you read it. According to that research, most CISOs and CSOs are worried that growing is causing a huge burnout among their teams. In terms of 42%.
Rafik, we keep losing you in between. I'm not sure what it is. But...
Okay, let me just a moment. Let me check what access point I'm connected to. Is it the case for anyone else?
Prashant, can you?
Yeah, Rafik, a little bit of drop, but it's still, we can still
yeah, we
hear
can
you,
still
but
understand, but
it's not
yeah,
totally. It's not totally. We're not totally losing.
Okay,
okay,
someone says
apologies.
it's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, apologies for that.
Okay, great. The audience is fine, Rafik. I think we can continue.
We can good to go. Okay. Yeah. Amazing. So I was saying that in terms of SIM challenges, 42% of respondents second only to capacity issues. Perhaps more worrisome is the fallout from dealing with voluminous alerts, including longer response time, more requests for more missed threats. Yet there is also evidence that companies with cloud-based SIM solutions like Azure Sentinel, a cloud-native SIM that leverages AI and based on the decades of Microsoft security experience, are less likely to feel these pains than their on-premise counterparts. The cloud can help manage that complexity of the expanding digital estate. It's security easy to manage. Harnessing the power of cloud will set your security operation team free of IT work and help them focus on security work with no limits. Powered by Microsoft Intelligent Security Graph, which is the Microsoft Threat Intelligence platform, fed by the amount of signals from authentications that we see happening, device telemetry, email detonation, URL detonation, and even threats to consumer products such as Xbox. Enriched, fed to machine learning models and classifiers, makes it a lot faster to detect evolving threats around all the globe, thus detecting organizational threats much faster, decreasing false positives. That's why we reimagined the SIM tool to introduce a new solution called Microsoft Azure Sentinel, providing intelligent security analytics at cloud scale for your entire enterprise. Azure Sentinel makes it easy to collect hybrid organization from devices, users, apps, servers. It uses the power of AI to ensure you are identifying real threat and unleashes you from the burden of traditional SIMs by eliminating the need to spend time cleaning and scaling infrastructure. It is built cloud scale, speed, and it can scale automatically to address your needs. Traditional SIM tools has also proven to be expensive to own, operate, often requiring you to confront and maintenance and data ingestion. With Azure Sentinel, there is no upfront cost. You will only pay for what you use. It's a pay-as-you-go model, and we are offering free connectors to the OT5, most Microsoft 365 threat protection solution, and Azure Security Center. So all of these data for free and have the analytics done on them for free, which reduces security costs significantly, of course. Azure Sentinel delivers an end-to-end solution for the security operations. So starting with collecting all of your data and getting instant insight into that data via the workbooks or the dashboards and queries. Begin applying data to find real threats from that sea of data. You are able to hunt through all of your data using built-in queries that are aligned with MITRE techniques. You can use bookmarks and live stream tools to track the events and monitor new activities. You are able to manage and investigate incidents using graphs and timeline views, automate investigation and remediation playbooks. All of this is powered by a huge community of security analysts and backed up by Microsoft security experts who leverage their vast experience defending Microsoft services to contribute to the analytics, queries, the playbooks, and others. And now that Microsoft Cloud Native SIM is, we are also operating this technology in production inside Microsoft as well. Azure Sentinel can easily capitalize on the different solutions deployed within Microsoft Threat Protection, within endpoint, identity, SaaS, or even connect to your hybrid environment within few clicks of a button through Azure Security Center. Besides connecting with third-party data sources, as I will explain in the coming slide, this will massively help in providing deeper context of detection, reducing false positives, and delivers unparalleled end-to-end capabilities. All right, so for data collection, it is a one-click integration with almost every Microsoft solution. The data connectors are growing for other technologies on-premise and cloud and the cross-cloud connectors. Today, we have more than 50 connectors available out of the box for use. We also support standard log formats like SAF, syslog, and we can do integrations with third-party threat intelligence solutions using Taxi protocol and also Microsoft Security Graph. There is also the REST API capability for connecting to other cloud solutions or third-party infrastructure, platform, or software as a service. When it comes to visualizations, Azure Sentinel provides the analyst with out-of-the-box interactive dashboards where you can combine multiple kinds of visualizations, including graphs and maps. It provides deep insights into a single data source or combining multiple sources together. And it is powered by KQL or Kusto Query language, which you may be familiar with if you're using Log Analytics or Azure Data Explorer or others. It's very common and easy to use programming language. And it makes the workbook creation easy to build and highly customizable. When it comes to analytics, analytics is one of the most powerful capabilities in Azure Sentinel that is designed to reduce the alert fatigue, help the SOC prioritize the alerts, and help detecting the different anomalies across the environment. And once you start to use Azure Sentinel, you will have access to more than 100 built-in analytics rules were developed by Microsoft and experts. There is a wizard that enables you to create your own analytic rules using KQL queries, or you can modify a built-in one if you want to. Where a threshold can be set to alert when an activity level exceeds some normal patterns, and correlation solutions, and now with Microsoft Intelligence through the security graph, and it can correlate different, for example, malicious URLs from these threat intelligence tools. So about the noise, what about the machine learning? So there are some built-in models offers the benefit of the machine learning without any complexity. We are applying an off-the-shelf machine learning models for identifying suspicious logins across Microsoft Identity Service to discover, for example, malicious SSH access to resources. By using the transfer existing machine learning models at Microsoft, Azure Sentinel can detect anomalies from a single dataset with accuracy. In addition, or multiple datasets, of course. In addition, technique that is called fusion from multiple sources like Azure Active Directory, anomalous logins, and suspicious Office 365 activities to detect more than, for example, 35 different threats that spans different points on the kill chain. And side is based on a real-life example that shows how Azure Sentinel ML models are able to analyze billions of signals to highlight only a small amount or a small number of high-severity threats as a high-fidelity detections. We have also advanced hunting capabilities, which is used by basically SOC tier 2 or tier 3, and this will be discussed by Prashant in their SOC practice, how they are using it. So we use built-in threat hunting queries developed by Microsoft and the community experts. You can run those threat hunting queries and see the results without prior query experience. So they are ready-made, they are aligned with MITRE framework techniques, and you are able to create your own threat hunting queries that are unique to your environment using the same language or KQL. All right, so related to the incident detection. So here you can see a container for alerts, events, bookmarks related to a particular security threat. Incidents are automatically created from alerts or initiated by a security analyst when doing threat hunting, or further investigation and status can be tracked. So it makes also the process of incident management really smooth by managing it within this same tool, as Prashant will be touching on within their SOC practice. And you can use those detections to trigger the playbooks or the automation playbooks, either manually, or you can configure them to run automatically based on a certain type of incident. And you can visualize, so if you want to investigate, you can visualize the whole attack timeline as it automatically correlates the entities across the different data sources. So no need for the SOC analyst to try doing deep dives within each of the single products to try reconnecting the timeline manually. But Sentinel does all of that to reduce the alert fatigue, the investigation fatigue, and help them focus on the real-time authority detection. And here you can click on any node to see the detailed information. You can see the related alerts, and you can have access to the raw data from the log analytics workspace. We also automatically detonate any URLs that we get in the telemetry. So URL detonation is used to enrich the alerts and quickly discover threats related to malicious URLs. When scheduled alerts, any URL data in the query results can be mapped to a new URL entity type. Whenever an alert containing a URL is generated, the mapped URL will be automatically detonated, and the investigation graph will be immediately reached with the detonation results. A verdict can be taken on this URL, whether it's malicious or non-malicious. To use this feature, make sure you have enabled the URL logging for your secure web gateways, web proxies, firewalls, or IDS and IPS appliances. When it comes to automation, it is a huge value within Azure Sentinel. So automation, Azure Sentinel is powered by logic apps within Azure, or Azure logic apps, and it is fully integrated with Azure Sentinel. Automation comes as part of the product. It comes as part of Azure Sentinel. So there is no like additional module that you need to get as a standalone and integrate with your SIEM tool, like most of the third-party SIEM tools have. So it enables you to automated and scalable playbooks that integrate across the different tools. And as you can see, it is very easy. It is in the sort of building blocks with different branches. You can add a condition, you can add a for loop, you can add parallel branches. You can do whatever you want in a graphical user interface. And for triggers and for actions, we are able to connect with more than 200 built-in connectors for both Microsoft and non-Microsoft products. And you can configure this playbook to either trigger manually or triggered based on certain incident or certain incident severity. So playbooks can be used to do multiple functions. It can be used for incident management, such as a ticket on your ticketing system, maybe it's a ServiceNow or a Jira or other, can notify the SOC teams about an incident on their team's channel that is dedicated for them, maybe send an email to the SOC manager at the same time to application. And it can also be used for investigation enrichment and triage work, as well as responding to threats using the connectors with different Microsoft and non-Microsoft solutions, and also Prashant of that within their practice. So for now, really thank you, and I would like to hand over to my colleague Prashant, who is going to explain to you their powerful SOC practice based on Azure Sentinel technology.
Sure, thank you. Hi, Rafik. Hi, everyone. Good morning. I'm going to go ahead and share my slide. Just a moment, please. Would have been better if it was a stage and, Kalyani could have gone to next. We're all virtual, so we have to share our slides separately. Can you guys hear me clearly, by the way?
Yep.
And see my screen as well?
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. We are, and that was a fantastic overview of Sentinel you've given, Rafik. And now I'm going to use the ancillary services or, the need of the hour for SOC 2.0. All right, if we look at traditional SOC key challenges, when I say traditional SOC is when you have logs coming in, you just do plain good old event correlation, and like Rafik earlier said, initially the SOC came into being when you used to collect the logs, and then there was no event correlation. Later on, we developed event correlation. There was a central point where we used to segregate and probably normalize, and then the correlation rules came in. But I would still call them traditional, because the newer technologies and the greatest technologies do bring in a lot many challenges. The integrations, the applications that we use, the next gen architectures, 3-tier, 4-tier architectures do bring in a lot of threats. So going by the key challenges, there is sophistication of threats these days that have evolved. And then, with those, when they come to a SOC, Security Operations Center, the alert fatigue happens, right? Because if you look at it, more than 45% of organizations do face thousands plus alerts in a day. So which ones are critical, which ones are not? What are, some events or alerts go by. So a lot of people who have joined do have a knowledge on SOC or alerts or events. I still want to just tell that events, when they come in and then they correlate, they come up to an incident, and some people interchangeably call them alerts. So this is what I'm referring to. The alert fatigue happens when analysts sitting in a SOC are getting bombarded with the incidents or the alerts, and then they go ahead and do the analysis. So where to look, what to look, right? So those are the challenges. There's a lot of alert fatigue. Again, to do mitigation or to find out the mean time to detect. There is a higher mean time to detect and respond if you are not incorporating the greatest and latest technologies in there. So increased alerts result in longer time in incident resolution. Of course, to do that, you need skills, right? So skill shortage is there in the market. All of us agree somewhere or the other. There are universities who are, bringing out engineers, but again, specific skill towards cybersecurity is still a paucity. We face these challenges. Of course, I am sure you are also facing certain challenges. Again, visibility and centralized operations is one of the biggest challenges. There are disparate log sources, firewall events coming in, endpoint detection response is separate. Then you're looking at email security alerts, multiple screens, right? So we need to concentrate, correlate, and bring down to a single console. The SaaS-based applications, the multiple devices, right? The applications and devices. So you're trying to integrate those, and that those have to be in a centralized format. So this is also one of the challenges, right? Again, process standardization. You have certain SOPs, but these SOPs have to be evolved with time. The standardization of the process has to happen first, and then the evolvement. Sometimes in the traditional SOCs, the standardization is not even happening, right? So that's where processes and technologies keep on changing. And we bring in to mitigate those certain level of automation, like Rafik suggested, to mitigate these kind of challenges. So these are the certain challenges we face. And here we go. The transformation of a SOC. What is it? The transformation. How did it happen? If you look at the far right of the screen, what happened? Why did it happen? What could happen? The impact. How could it be prevented? You look at proactively ahead in time. So now I'll pose you the transformation from left to right. The left ones are the ones which is traditional SOC, right? Wherein I keep on saying traditional SOC for you, but again, traditional SOCs are the ones where you see catch and dispatch. You just catch the events and dispatch. Okay, this is what we find out. This is the log source, and that's it. That's about it. And you send it to the administrator that this has happened, or with the correlation rule that this is triggered and this has happened. No. Now what we need to do is get into proactive mode, isn't it? We get to threat and risk assessments, bring in threat intelligence, indicators of compromise, integrate it all together, and then do the intelligent detection, right? So reactive to proactive, historical analysis rather than going and finding out what happened, and in terms of addressing the only first point in the right side. But again, do a real-time predictive analysis is when you do early detection. There is attack modeling and simulation you do. There is data mining, machine learning you bring in. That's how you do a real-time analysis versus a historical or a data set based analysis. Signature based, you have pattern matching, but again, this term did come in from the intrusion detection systems and antiviruses versus the behavior based, the newer intrusion detection systems. Or in a similar fashion, the analogy was IDSs I've just given. In the similar fashion, SIEMs with the ancillary services, with the ancillary techniques, we bring in baselining and the deviation. The anomaly detection is what we do in the rules. I'm not talking about plain good old signature matching, but in the rules. Again, heuristics approach is a new need of the hour. That's what the latest SOC 2.0 architecture helps in. Infrastructure context. Earlier, something happened. You go ahead and try and mitigate. So let's say firewall denies are happening. You go ahead and try and mitigate that. Reactional, right? You do it on the reaction based on what happened. But now it has to be business centric. What kind of business impact would that particular infrastructure issue would bring in? Awareness of the situation, because there are a lot of integration with the devices out there, right? So when you do the analytics would need you to be aware of the situation, as well as aware of the depth of the data. Where is the depth and the breadth of data? Where it is going? What is the path? And what could have happened? Like if you go to point number 3 on the right side, what could have happened to the business, right? So to mitigate that, we need to have business context knowledge. Alert analysis, again, good old matching of log sources with it and finding out. Rather, let's do proactive threat hunting in addition to threat intelligence, in addition to advanced reporting and visualization. Bring the data analytics in the fore, and have better threat analytics rather than the traditional ones. Fragment IR, fragment incident response. Earlier, in the traditional SOCs, you would have incident response happening at multiple levels, but again, it is all fragmented. But if we bring it onto a central console, do an automation, do orchestration, understand, okay, this particular incident, which is probably phishing, right? Or it is coming from multiple denies of a particular, login. So you could automate that, isn't it? So when you orchestrate it, automate it, the fragment IR transforms to an incident response, which is maturer, automated, and brings in quality. Going from now, it's the technology per se. I'm going right. The evolution of SOC from nowadays you have data lakes. Data lake security. Again, what is the basic concept of data lake security is that the access of the data should be always available in the CIA triad of security: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Data lakes have to be available all the time, right? Now, it's just an example like I talked. Because on the top, I have data lakes, artificial intelligence, machine learning. All of it is we are using these transformations from older, SOC to 2.0, and that's where newest and latest and greatest technologies are coming in. So, compliance and reporting, perimeter security, insider threats, and data leakage. These are some of the challenges that we need to address, right? Advanced persistent threats, state-sponsored attacks, where you have anomalies. Again, threat intelligence and threat hunting is one of the biggest concern at the moment for SOC 2.0 to achieve. And then bring in cyber analytics, as well as application frauds wherever happen. For the PCI DSS, for SOC, for HIPAA, again, depending on the compliances, where application fraud has happened, what are the transactions actually happened, we need to get to the bottom of it. To support all of it, we have at the bottom layer SIEM. Earlier, plain good old SIEM, we add on layers to it. You bring in network-based anomaly detection, packet capture, traffic analysis, TCP reconstruction of the data sets. You capture the packets and run the analysis on top of that. That is an addition to an SIEM. Again, an endpoint threat detection response. So the events that are coming in from the EDRs, they enrich the data in the SIEMs. In a similar fashion, you have to add IOCs via threat intelligence, right? So when you add intelligence in terms of brand protection, dark web monitoring, again, depending on a domain, if you are trying to get IOCs on your, or even to a level of an email of a CEO or CXO level personnel, right? So the threat intelligence does play a big role in doing data analysis. And of course, like Rafik said, automation would bring in smoothness into the repetitive and frequently coming alerts in the SOC. So those alerts are handled by automation by the plain good old playbooks, right? So you write the playbooks, customize them, and there are multiple integration of devices for automation. User and entity behavior analytics. So you see user behavior, right? But entity means users own different entities, as in devices. Again, users, not the username, but again, if he has a PII information, depending on that, and any behavior, which is deviating from normal, raise red flags. So those analytics do bring in enrichment to the central console, and then of course the rules will help them. In the same fashion, like I talked earlier, data lakes and custom algorithms, the newest norm of the internet world, or cloud computing, or cloud integration. And there is big data in there, so it does support big data in there, and then we need to go ahead and do the integration. This is where you see an architecture of the Azure Suite framework, right? For SOC 2.0 framework architecture. So if you look at the Sentinel sitting in the middle, it is getting logs from antiviruses, IPS firewall, DBs, operating systems, and so forth, right? And on top of it, in the central machine, central block, you see predictive. Again, you have SOAR in there, right? On the far right side, you have adaptive. Adaptive as in when you are getting alerts or enriching, you have network NDR in there, done by ATA, Microsoft ATA. Advanced threat analytics, by EDR, the defender. So it is bringing in those alerts and bringing it adaptiveness into it, and UEBA as well. But on the left side, if you see, we are doing proactive, intelligence, bringing into the console, the central console, the deception tools, the honey nets, honey tokens. Right, so similar deception tools where an attacker attacks and you figure out, oh, he's doing that, and then those things you enrich the data to SI. In the same fashion, you're getting threat intelligence feeds, digital risks, right? The IOCs. So it is bringing in intelligence to the SIM through various formats, through taxi, stakes, open source, MISP, whatever, there may be, the TI integration you want to do. Inbuilt Microsoft's own TI is there, but however, you can still add on multiple, threat intelligence sources in there, third party as well. But this is Microsoft Azure, Microsoft framework only I'm showing. And then you have cyber resiliency and vulnerability prioritization. This is the red team or vulnerability assessment when you do the red teaming, wherein you find out the capability of the implemented rules. So you need to keep on checking every now and then how well, what is the security posture, how well the rules are written, how well the incidents are triggering. So cyber resiliency does help in there. Now, how do you do the threat, cyber attack detection with SOC 2.0? So at Happiest Minds, we do we map the attacks with the MITRE attack framework, and there are about 200 techniques in that, which are, sub techniques are also mentioned now. What subcategories are also mentioned now. So what we do is, if you look on the left side, there is attack phases, data sources, and then detection sources. So on the attack phases, in the initial access, the relevant data sources are probably social engineering, initial access, and credentials in the web. In the similar fashion, if you go a little right, where you see the persistence, execution persistence, privilege escalation, these are the data sources for them would be API monitoring, for example, Windows registry, DLL monitoring, system calls, and so forth. These are the ones which will help you identify, oh, there is a persistence of attack, or there is a privilege escalation happening, and these are the data sources. In a similar fashion, if you go on the far right side, the breach level, where you see the lateral movement or collection of data, or done by command and control. So these are the data sources that you come across, where you see process command line again, inspection of the TLS sessions, application logs, the lateral movements is identified by doing API monitoring as well. And finally, post-attack, you have exfiltration, packet capture, user interface, exfiltration of data. And what are the data sources that you see? What are the detection sources for them are listed below. So what we've done is we've mapped our analytics for when we connect or do an implementation of SOC. The log sources are the relevant log sources and the relevant use cases are created keeping the micro-attack framework in mind. So in a micro-attack framework, if you see that, okay, privilege escalation is what you need to catch, I need to go ahead and create a rule wherein I see a system call log coming in from a server, and then in addition, there is a DLL change that happened, right, by doing DLL monitoring. So you go ahead and do an intelligent use case creation. And SOC 2.0, if you look at the bottom, SOC 2.0 is supported by centralized monitoring as well as automation. Right. So what do you need in a SOC 2.0 operation? You have a SOC head. Then on the left side, you have a product engineering lead. Then SOC 2.0 PM, and then threat intelligence lead. On the right side, the threat intelligence lead will have threat analytics, threat hunters, and pen testers. On the left, you have the platform SMEs who are configuring use cases, creating use cases, and then developing them. And in the middle, you have the analysts. And if you go to the bottom layer, there is L2 analysts, and then L1 automated and normalized. So if you see L1 there, L1 is doing probably 60% of the workload in the automation form. 40% is still manual, which is raised to an L2 level. L1, 60% of automation 60% of the logs can be handled by the automation. Well, that brings about end of my session. Do you have any questions for the tool or integrations? The MDR part I can handle. The questions referring to the Sentinel specific, Rafik can answer.
Thank you. Thank you, Prashant, Rafik. That was a very informative session. And I've noted a few questions, so let me see. Right now we got a question from Amir, and he wants to know, do we need all the mentioned security measures for private cloud hosting? Prashant, I think that question came out from your presentation, yeah.
Yeah, so can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, so he says...
I would like him to speak if he can, and I would like to understand the question better, because just one line doesn't help. I want to know the question better.
I am not sure.
Okay, can you read out the question again? Or is it in the chat? I can read the chat.
It is in the chat, yes. It says, do we need all the mentioned security measures for private cloud hosting?
Well, it depends on the operations, right? So in a private cloud, your cloud infrastructure, the log sources are, dependent on your applications, dependent on your infrastructure. What is a flow of information, the path, whether you've given access to some of the remote users as well. Again, depending on the log sources is how we need to craft your architecture or design the SOC. But again, yes, to a short answer is yes, we need to capture everything to give you the full view. Everything means even the packets from a NetFlow, or if it's, virtualization, the vFlow, or depending on all the packets, as well as logs. So yes, to bring everything to analytics to the best capability, you need to have the latest and greatest techniques. But again, yes, the capture of logs from each and every device are required.
Great.
Did I answer?
I hope, yeah, Amir says thanks. So he got his answer. So we've got one more question which says, what is the level of automation supported in Azure Sentinel? Rafik, would you want to take that?
Yeah, thank you very much, Kailani, and for the question. Well, automation on different levels in the matter of fact. So in terms of detection, we utilize the machine learning models. We utilize a technology that is called Fusion, and the machine learning models within the Fusion technology can detect a multi-stage attack from different sources, correlated from different sources. And in terms of the response, there are automation also, as I explained, at multiple levels. So at the incident management process, there is an automation work and methods that you can use for email systems, for ticketing systems, and also we can automate the investigation using automated hunting queries, automated alert enrichment through the playbooks, and also automating the response in terms of the technical controls or the technical actions that we do to respond to a breach or an incident.
Okay, yeah, great. One more question that has come up, Moed wants to know, will be there a private cloud for each customer? Is it physically or virtually segregated? Prashant, Rafik?
I'll take that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So what happens is there is a tenant model in Azure Sentinel. So it's handled by Lighthouse. Again, if you have to have this is a cloud providing solution, right? So again, in the private cloud, there has to be a connectivity to Azure for that matter, because this will be subscribed in Azure, right? So you, if you will, you will be one of the tenant. But if you look at it in a fashion that, okay, I have 3 different private clouds, and each of the private cloud is a tenant of its own. I mean, it itself can be a tenant. So yes, but again, it has to be there has to be a management through Azure Sentinel tenant management. Yes, the answer is yes. We have to have tenant management in there.
Great. Hope Moed, you're great. Yeah. Okay. He got his answer. We have. Let me see. We can take one more question. So, Rafik, when you mentioned about the out-of-the-box connectors, somebody asked, what is the feature? Features in Azure Sentinel that will help do threat hunting?
All right. So threat hunting. So threat hunting is a capability that is used. As we know, it can span across all of the threat landscape. So basically, how we do a threat hunting is not, I would not say that would be really the question, but how much quality that we can get. And for that, I would say that it must depend on the visibility and the data sources and the type of quality telemetry these data sources are providing to Azure Sentinel. So from a threat hunting or we can do queries that are out of the box one, or you can even create your own threat hunting queries that can query your entire landscape depending on which data sources that you have connected. But I would say that get to the different products such as Microsoft Threat Protection products like Defender ATP, Azure ATP, which taps directly into your domain controller. With Defender ATP, you have the agents built in view, so you get the most deep telemetry. And this makes a huge difference when it comes to threat hunting, because we have quality telemetry to analyze and to query. Besides that, with Microsoft Threat Intelligence feeds, or the TIs from the Microsoft Threat Intelligence graph, I think this is the best possible way we can do threat hunting with correlation from the largest.
Right. We lost the last part, Rafik, but I think they got their answer. And we are running out of time, so whatever other questions you have, you can always write to us and we will respond, and we will respond to the other questions that you've already sent across to us over the mail. So with that, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our audience who took some time out from their busy schedule and attended this session. I would also like to thank our speakers, Mr. Rafik and Mr. Prashant, for presenting and taking up all your questions. I would like to extend my thanks to the Redington and Microsoft team for all the work in the background in order to make this webinar a success. So what you see on the screen is a customized workshop that you know we are offering. So you will receive a mail after this webinar, a follow-up mail where you can go and register for this customized workshop. It will help you define your SOC 2.0 powered by Azure Sentinel roadmap, and Prashant and his team would assist you on that. Do look out for the follow-up mail in your mail box and register yourself. With that, we look forward to hearing from you all, and it's time to end the session. Thank you all once again. Stay safe and healthy. Thank you.